Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Ohio Guys here. I'm Christian Ocampo, and today I'm joined by another special guest. We have John Bentley today.
What's
Hi-
happening, everybody?
It's great to have you here, sir. I'm very thrilled to get this interview rolling with you.
Cool. It's a pleasure to be here, Christian. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. I can't thank you enough for it.
All good, man. All good. I'm here.
And while you're here, got some questions I'd like to ask you.
Cool.
First of all, what is it like working in the industry today?
You mean like during this whole coronavirus thing, or you mean in the industry period? Because it's changed dramatically. I guess in the industry today, in the voiceover industry, it's cool. A lot of things are new. A lot of things are opened up. There's more characters of color. There's more animation going on. There's more anime. There's more video games. There's so many different genres of the voiceover world. I mean, there's spokesperson, there's commercial, there's industrial. There's so many different genres that have opened up because there's so many more ways to broadcast what you do because of the networks or paid pay-per-view or Netflix or all the new venues you have to do your work now. It's just a whole different world. But in this whole coronavirus, it's interesting because a lot of people who would normally go into a studio to record now have to have the means to record at home or have the right material and the right tools to be able to record at a high level, a high quality, so that it can be used. So it's different now.
It definitely is. I've seen posts, I've seen Twitter posts. Everyone's trying to change things up, customize their houses, and now everyone's getting a chance to now use more of the Skype, more of the Zooms,
Yep.
all that good jazz, just to at least keep their workflow up.
Yep. Yep. I mean, you gotta change with the times because that whole Hollywood additive is so true. The show must go on. It's very true.
Yep. And we'll see how these next few months pan out, as people record from home.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just hoping that our listeners, as well as you, are just safe and healthy out there because this is a crazy time we're living in. I don't know any generation that's lived in it, but it's going to be pretty awesome to say that we have lived through it. And those who have lost people, my condolences. My heart goes out to you, and prayers up and prayers out.
Same here. May this virus disappear as soon as possible.
Yes.
And all that.
Yeah. Hey, on a brighter note.
Yeah, brighter note. That's brighter notes. What is your favorite project you got to work on?
My favorite project. Wow. I got a lot of them. You know what? To me, Christian, it's awesome to have the opportunity to work, and it's even more awesome to have the opportunity to work. And in that work, your job is doing what you love to do. So for me, I love being able to entertain. I love being able to bring a smile to people's faces. I love being able to, especially during this time, bring some kind of joy or some kind of hope to people who are just trying to deal or who are going through it. Because you never know who you'll touch just through your performance ability or your saying, "Hey, how you doing?" or a friendly gesture and a hug. You never know. So I've got a lot of favorite projects. I love doing video games. I love doing the Samuel L. Jackson stuff. That's always fun. But some of the anime has just been off the chain fun to do. Tiger and Bunny, Sailor Moon, Final Fantasy, which is a game, but to me it's anime style. So many different projects I've been able to do that are just fun. And I've had great booth techs, I've had awesome directors, and I've had great ensembles that I've been able to work with and other actors. So the whole process is pretty fun when I get to do that.
Oh, definitely. It's hard to just pick one after all the all these great memorable titles you got to be part of. So
Yeah, I've been blessed, man.
yeah, definitely, man. You're in a row, man, and I hope to keep seeing you more stuff.
You and me both, as well as my family.
All right, and then speaking of video games, uh, one that just came out not too long ago during this time of this recording. What was that on Resident Evil Resistance?
That was interesting. I always laugh because they had the one brother in there, and his name was Tyrone. So it's just like, okay. But it was interesting because my sons were playing it, and they were playing the beta version, so I was able to play the beta version myself. And I went, wait a minute, that's me. And they're like, that's you? I'm like, yeah. I pitched my voice up a little bit because he's a younger character. But when I saw it, I didn't realize he was that young. So I would have pitched my voice up a lot higher than I did in the game. So, but I'm super critical of my own work. It's like I look at it and I go, man, I could have, or I should have, man, if I would have just, I wonder if So sometimes you just got to go with it and be happy with what the director says. Hey, that was a great take. That's good. Or sometimes you just have to lay it down and know that you put in that work and go, okay, I got to let it go now because now it's recorded and ready to go. But that was an interesting game. It was crazy because it's hard. It's not like an easy game. When you're going up against a mastermind, that's hard. But that I didn't even know it was Resident Evil when we were recording. Because the Resident Evil that I grew up on was the one for Sega, the original Resident Evil. And I'm like, man, this isn't Resident Evil. No one told me it was Resident Evil when we were recording. It was a different name that we were recording it under. And so when I found out it was Resident Evil, I'm like, oh, that's an ingenious plot. You got somebody trying to stop you and you got all these traps and so I was very excited about it. And then my son, like I said, said, Dad, you know that's you, right? I'm like, well, that's what we just figured out. But so it was funny. It was a fun experience.
I got to see good old Bill Butts, Twitch streamer and voice actor such as yourself. I still get demolished in that game anytime. So
it's not easy, man. Listen, and Bill, like in real life, Bill is probably 10 times stronger than Tyrone. So, because Bill is like Diesel, good dude, man, really good dude. I really hope to get to work with him one day. But yeah, it's not an easy game. It's just not. Especially when you have to count on your teammates to get you from point A to point B. You know what I mean? And if that mastermind knows how to set traps, especially around the entrance ways, oh my gosh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Definitely. And again, free plug to Bill Butts and again, with all his video game skills, even he struggles in a game like Resident Evil Resistance. So yeah, for any players out there, man, I just wish them all the best of luck because it's huge difficulty just to overcome.
It is. You got to have the right team, and they got to know what they're doing, or else you'll get frustrated playing it.
All right, and another video game that has been acclaimed highly since its release, still going on strong. It's now become one of my new favorite games to play. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes.
What was it like with that title?
It was a joy, bro. I'm going to tell you, when I auditioned for it, I knew Barrett because I knew the character. Once I saw the picture, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Final Fantasy. What? No one told me this. What are we? This I grew up on this game. It was the first RPG game that I had ever played, and I got hooked because I'm like, there is a black man in an RPG game, in an anime type game, back in the 90s. 97 is 98. I think I picked it up in 97 because I had just got married in 96 and played it for quite some time. Probably played it for a year. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" Playing Final Fantasy VII. So, but I'll never forget that it was the first RPG game because I didn't like RPG games. And it was the first one I picked up where there was a black man who was a leader who didn't die. And that made me happy. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is great. I get to play a video game with a character in it that looks like me, not looks like me, but I can identify through the culture and the race, this is awesome. And it was set in this really, really cool world. How they did it was awesome. I was brought up being taught how to read at age 5. So it was awesome because you got side scroll and you had to read what you were doing. It wasn't hurry up and push buttons, hurry up and push. You had to know what you were doing. So I was thrilled, honored, and honestly very, very humbled to find out when I got the job. And the humbling part also came in knowing that I couldn't portray this character as a stereotype or as a caricature. I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to embarrass my culture, my race, myself, my family. I didn't want to do that. So I went pretty in depth just trying to figure out the right voice so that no one would look at Barrett as this big, angry black man who is a brute and just wants to shoot things up, or big, strong guy who wants to beat things up. I didn't want to portray him that way. I wanted the story to serve its purpose in showing that Barrett, as well as all the characters around him, we have a story arc. So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And he starts off one way, and he ends a different way. So you have to make sure, as an actor, for me, especially for this character, I had to make sure that he wasn't those stereotypes, that he did have a story that was to build, that the listener, the video game player, had interest in this character as well as all the other characters around them, because that's what builds the ensemble. If they like you, then they learn to like Cloud, then they learn to like Aerith, and they learn to like, everybody else. So that was a big task. So I was very humbled to get that role.
And it's great you say that he did feel different from other people's take or just the way that you took it. Like, I can go point out to Anthony Sardina, aka Antfish, with his abridged twist, which again still kept it in a way that again wasn't going to just be a stereotype or like you say, embarrass your own culture, of how black men are in pop culture media. And it was just great just how your performance went, and just you gave us a new flavor, a new type of black man that I guess we as non-black fans or we got to see, there's something more to this. There's more of an arc, as you mentioned. And, that's more fleshed out, more down to earth human.
Yeah, right. He's multidimensional. He's a human being. He's multidimensional. He's a freedom fighter. He's like people say, an eco-terrorist. That's what people say. He's fighting for a cause. He cares about the planet. He cares about his team. He cares about the individuals who are around him. He loves his daughter Marlene. He cares about Marlene's dad. There's so many different dimensions and facets of who he is and why he is the way he is. And most people who have seen little clips or here and there, they just think that's the whole character, and it's not. You have to see you have to play the game, you have to see the character arc. He starts off one way, but he doesn't end that way.
Definitely. And yeah, you did great justice to Barrett. And
thank you, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man, for sure. And hopefully we get more as the months go by. I feel the DLC is coming down the pipelines, and if it gets me more time with Final Fantasy VII, I'll be right behind my PlayStation.
I think a lot of people are waiting.
Sure. And good old Bill Butts. He's doing I'm going to keep my team over and over again, because we both like talking about whenever Final Fantasy is on the stream.
Oh, Bill is that much of a fan? I didn't know that.
Oh, he is. Oh, you look back his streams. Oh, Final Fantasy is everywhere right now. So
I did not know that. I got to check out more of his stuff. I just know that we reach out to each other, and I follow him. He's a good dude. I just like him. I mean, he's like talking about Final Fantasy, but I'm like, Bill, you did One Punch Man, dude. It's like, come on. And I just think I'm a fan of his, so it's just cool.
Yeah, hopefully he'll bring into his live streams one of these days.
That would be fun.
I
That would be
would.
fun. I don't know where Bill is located though. Is he in LA?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No,
Huh.
I don't know exactly where exactly. I can find out for you.
It's all good. Tell him to hit
I'll-
me up on. Tell him to DM me. Let me know.
Yep.
That'd be fun. It'd be fun.
All right. So another project you got to work on this time was a film. What was it like working on MFKZ?
It was fun. It was. It was a lot of voices in that film. A lot of work on that film. So it was fun. I think we went in for, I don't remember if it was one session or two sessions, but there were different characters that I would play. I know when we got the original audition, I auditioned for about 3 or 4 different characters. And I know a couple celebrities are in that as well. But that was fun. At first, I was hesitant to do the role because it was adapted by someone who isn't from the States and isn't aware of the culture because they just are aware of what they know of it from media, it seemed like. So some of the characters were very sketchy and I was really hesitant because of some of the words, how they were used, how they depicted a lot of the characters, which I can't stand stereotypical stuff like that. I was telling you. So I was very hesitant at first to do it, but it was an interesting project.
It is. It's, and again, the whole stereotypes. Like I saw like the luchador in it, and for me, I'll get to, I don't know too much of the stereotypical part of it because I'm Mexican.
Hmm.
For those viewers who don't know, and then for some actors who don't know, though harder to offend me. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
So I will take it as it is, and I'll enjoy the whole thing from beginning to end, and I'll make my thoughts. But
Hmm.
this was a little fun, little twist, or how can I put the words? It was so different, from.
It was different because it didn't end the way it started. It didn't end the way you would think it was. As a matter of fact, the storyline did not do what you thought it was going to do. And the people who you thought or they stereotyped to be villains turned out to not be that way. So it had a few little twists, and that's what allowed me to go, okay, I can get down with that right now. It was different.
All right, and another film you got to work on this time, anime film, Pro Mayor. What was
Oh,
thinking that?
that was fun. Did you see it?
I have not seen it. I missed out the watch party, but I will be picking up my
Oh,
DVD
good.
copy. I'm gonna watch.
Okay. That, first of all, it's just, it's excitement level from the minute my character comes on, Varys Trust. But it's just at a high level from the beginning the film starts. Because it starts off a little peaceful and then right away you go right into it. And it's literally like going to an amusement park and getting on a roller coaster and going up. And it's going to be an exciting ride, but it's tick, 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 all the way up. And you're like, ooh, oh, we're getting to the end. Where's it going? And it drops. And for this show, it just keeps dropping. And then there are a couple little breaks in there where explanation is given, backstory is given, but even that, the way they do it, it's written so well and illustrated so well, and the colors are absolutely beautiful, that you go, oh my gosh, I'm getting all this information, but I'm getting it as I'm going, you know what I mean? You're catching your breath because something else had just happened and something's about to happen. So it was that kind of story. So you had to be on point and you had to be full of energy to come in and do that character. And my character didn't have a whole lot, but when he was on, he was on. And that whole film is kind of like that. But that was very fun. Stephanie Shea had me audition for that, and I was just thrilled, one, to be able to work with her. She does so much work. And she's the sweetest thing in the world. And so I got to work with her on that and a couple other projects with her. So that was, as a matter of MFKZ was, that was through her as well. So it was fun. It's been fun working with her.
Oh, definitely. She's a sweetheart and got nothing but good things to say about her. I
Mm-hmm.
love how much more directing she's been taking over the years. And now that she's working more with G Kids,
Mm-hmm.
with and NYAV, with Michael's
Mm-hmm.
Internet, and with Promare being created by Studio Trigger, I do believe, who also got to work on some other of that same style, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
Kill the Kill and all that, those shows from the past. Like, the excitement is always there whenever that studio is making something like
Oh
that.
yeah, big time. And she's just on point. She's very good at what she does, both on voice and behind the camera. I mean, behind the scene and directing. She knows her stuff. That whole team does though. G Kids is they're doing some good stuff, man.
Definitely, and I just love how much they've been rolling out. I just wow, in just a short span of time, it's one thing after another, and they're having a very good year so far,
They are.
despite what things are happening.
Yeah. They're
I watch
bringing
it.
joy and excitement to a lot of people who are stuck, who think they have nothing to watch, and they find that and they go, oh, "This is great. What else have they done?"
All right, and still going back with the whole black culture, another show that was great with that representation, Cannon Busters.
Oh
What was like
yeah,
looking at?
Cannon Busters was a blast, man. Cannon Busters was wow, that was just awesome. I had the creator right there in the booth with us, and he laid out what he wanted. He laid out the scenario, then he said, "Now go." And so that was really awesome because you have the creator who serves as a director, then you have a director who already knows the flavor of what's going on, and that was a lot of fun. That was fun, and I got to play a character that is completely different from so many of the characters that I play. So I got to play, a dad. So that was fun playing a dad in that world who was a king and regal, and all of a sudden his long lost son comes in, and I'm not going to give the story away, but it's pretty gnarly. But what a great project. That's just fun.
It is, and again, it's with the black culture. It's one of the first, I do believe, one of the first few animes where most of the main cast were played by African American actors. So
Yep.
yeah, a bunch of names, and again, it's something that doesn't really come out very often. Hopefully, now that we get shows again like Camp Busters and everything else you got to work on, we might get more and more as time goes on. And I think it's
Uh-huh.
great that we're seeing more black characters in both anime and all these other mediums out there.
There is a basketball player, Johnny. he just he has his own African American animated studio, and it's called Nora Caesar. Nora Caesar. You should look it up. Nora, Noir Caesar. You should look it up because his whole concept was, you know what? I grew up watching anime. I love anime. He's an NBA player at one point too, and there just no one looks like me in it. As much as I love it, there's just no characters that look like me. So he created his own comic book. He created his own characters. He created his own shows. So hats off to him. I can't wait for the opportunity to work with them one day because they got some really solid stories. You can find most of their stuff on Amazon. I'm not trying to plug them. I'm just saying a whole new world has opened up to me with doing Barrett and a lot of the anime that I've been doing. And so when I find out all these new game developers, all these creators, I'm just like, look at all this content out there that just wasn't there when I was coming up as a kid. So that's why I say it's alive and well and doing really cool. So that makes me happy.
Hopefully, he's a fan of Final Fantasy VII and Barrett. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. We're supposed to be
opportunism.
doing an interview with them soon. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice. Wish you best of luck. And
thank you.
and yes, I am familiar with Noir Caesar.
Yeah,
I'm I know they're gonna get up there with more stuff.
I think so. They got some solid stuff. A lot of the artists remind me of the Boondock style, which reminds me of Afro Samurai, and so it's just there's some good stuff out there, good stuff coming out.
I can't wait.
Hmm.
All right, and then another show, and I love this one. It's one of my personal favorites. What was it like working on Baki?
Oh, there's a bunch of muscular dudes beating the hell out of each other. No, Baki is it's crazy because most people would like if you walked into a room and somebody was about to start an episode or in the middle of an episode, people wouldn't understand what it was. You have to listen to the words despite what you're seeing visually. You have to listen to what they're saying. You have to understand the concept behind what they're doing. These great fighters that are coming together, and people don't understand it. So when I was first introduced to it, I'm like, oh, for sure I'm gonna play, one of the big dudes, the brothers, right? And they're like, no, you're gonna play the warden. And I'm like, what? And so for me, the beauty of it was, wow, I get to play a character that is to show my range that I don't have to play a black character all the time. I can play other characters. I can play different cultures. I can play different creeds. So that was, for me, that was very fun. That's a serious, exciting animation series. Like, I can't even watch it with my wife in the room because she's like, all that blood. Are they cursing too? Oh my gosh, the boys are going to see that because I have 4 boys. I'm like, they're old enough to see. As a matter of fact, they've probably been watching the series longer than me, so that was very interesting to be able to get it, but it was a thrill. Once I got in there and saw what I was doing, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Because I hadn't seen the series. I'd only seen still shots. I'm like, what are all these muscular dudes doing? I've seen different comic books that were overseas like that, but it was X-rated stuff. It wasn't like, Baki. And then I started seeing the episodes and seeing what I was doing. I'm like, this is awesome. Because I'm a fanboy just like everybody. Everybody's like, well, John, you go and you do the work. I'm like, man, I know so much. You're talking about a kid who was the only child growing up in Chicago, playing Atari 2600, Pong before that, and just being excited about video games and comic books. And so I'm just as much a fan as everybody else.
Yeah, like I said, I've been reading the mangas, from
Yep.
forever ago. I know like almost everything about Baki. I am way past, when the show ended. I'm hoping for more, another season, a few more seasons. Like the manga keeps going forever. I'll tell you that right now. It's like
it does.
Yeah, it's like wow. Like I can only imagine, either you get new actors playing these characters, or they bring you guys back to play different characters. So how
We'll
they want
see.
Yeah.
I love to work, so you never know, and I'm always hustling for work, so I love what I do.
Good to hear. All right, so have a funny question like to ask all the actors.
Uh-oh.
If you could be any character you have played in real life, who will you be? And you can mix and match.
Oh, that's easy. Spider-Man and Nanaki.
Okay.
What you guys know as you call him Red X. Nanaki and Spider-Man. I mean, they're kind of similar as far as how they move, but Nanaki can't climb walls or shoot webs. But I love nimble characters. If somebody's going to play him in a game, I want to be able to have the strength of the spider, like Spider-Man. I mean, he never really dies until they started doing all these crazy clones and all these different things. But Spider-Man is a bad dude. And Nanaki, because you're talking about basically a character that's like a person of color to me. I keep going back to that theme, but talking about a Native American who has sustained life despite what was taken. You're talking about, because I was in Cuernavaca for a while, you talk about an indigenous race that has sustained despite being ousted because of the color of their skin. You're talking about a black person who was a slave who, sustained and is still here. The race is still here. The only thing with Nanaki is that his race, he's the last one. So, you have compassion for him. So when you know the backstory of a lot of these characters, it's pretty deep. So those two are my favorite. You know, I mean, I've got tons of favorite characters, but if I was gonna be somebody, Peter Parker didn't start getting old until I got old. You know, in the comic books at least.
Right, right.
And now you got Miles coming out with, Spider-Verse. I mean, it's how can you not want that kind of power and you're young and you can survive and you may be naive, but you're still fresh and quirky and funny and cracking jokes while you're fighting and but you still got a regular life outside of it. Now balancing those things would be tough in real life, but I'm a dad and a husband, so I might fit right in there.
There you go. All right. Now, is there anything else coming out that you can talk about or anything that you want to plug in at this time?
I think you pretty much covered the things that are out there. If you want to know the stuff for the listeners, if you want to know the stuff that I'm in, you can always go to imdb.com on the internet, and you can see it's called Internet Movie Database. You can see a list of the work that I've done. You can see pretty much what's coming out and what's being worked on. Legally, they can say I'm under a contract, non-disclosure agreement, so there are a lot of things that I can't talk about that are coming out. But there are a few projects that I'm hoping come through, and then there's some other things that I think Carol and Tuesday. I'm in that playing one of the girls' dads.
Oh,
yeah. The way they write that is beautiful too. I mean, it's beautiful. And the role I get to play it's bittersweet for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Without giving anything away.
Same here.
Yeah. But I can't remember anything else that off the top of my head that I'm actually allowed to talk about. With this whole virus thing happening, a lot of productions have been shut down. But I'm in a lot of stuff that people don't know about. Like there's a lot of shows on Netflix that I transcribe for the blind. So if you go to Netflix and you want to see a particular show, you can turn on the show. If you're blind, you can't see the show, but you can hear the description. So you will hear the description me narrating what's happening in between the actors or the person who's a spokesperson talking. So you may not be able to see a punch or a gunshot, but you'll hear she pulls out a gun. You hear a shot, like lightning is shot. It's different things like that. So there's a lot of things that I do as an actor that aren't on the forefront, like Barrett's character or the things that I've done on camera or on voiceover work. So I'm always trying to keep busy. I'm always trying to do fun and interesting projects, but I'm always trying to keep busy because I got a family to take care of.
Definitely, man. I don't blame you for that. So keep on working.
Yeah.
Hope to see
you.
more stuff. And to viewers, play Final Fantasy or Resident Evil.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Yeah, I'm still, man, play it because I can't get past. I literally just got past the first reactor and I'm on the train I'm about to go into the town where Seventh Heaven is, but I haven't been able to play because my sons, like I said, I have 4 boys, they're playing the game. So I might be able to sneak Yakuza that I'm trying to play. I didn't know how big that world was. I literally just finished yesterday, I think, Devil May Cry 5. So I'm trying to play multiple games. I haven't even touched Spider-Man. I think three of the 4 of my boys have finished Spider-Man. Red Dead Redemption is such a big world. And everybody's like, Dad, have you hurt yourself? I'm like, no, because you're on the game. So there's so many games that are out there that I haven't finished playing. But right now I'm trying to just get to Seventh Heaven in Final Fantasy as soon as somebody gets up off the sticks to let me play it. So there's a lot going on aside from trying to work, a lot of interviews we've been doing lately. And then, just trying to make sure everybody in the house is safe and everybody is cool and, just trying to do that.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
And coming down to our last question, for the viewers watching this, any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other social media for the fans to follow you at?
I'm gonna start writing this down because everyone asks me, and I'm fairly new to social media, but I'm on Facebook as I think John Bentley or John Eric Bentley. I'm on Twitter as John Bentley or John Eric Bentley, and I'm on Instagram as John Bentley or John Eric Bentley. I just don't, there's so many. I don't remember if I put my whole name on it or if it's just John Bentley on it. So, but I don't go by any, code or any cool name or anything. It's me. What you see is what you get, basically. But I'm on, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can pretty much find me.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. It's been an honor having you on for an interview. It's been a blast for me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me, bro. You take it easy, and like I said, be safe, stay healthy, okay?
Yep, will do. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in for this new edition of the Ohio Guys. Thank you all, and be seeing you all next time. Bye, everyone.